Today we're going to head on over to upstate New York, specifically the Borscht Belt, located in the Catskill Mountains. We're going to take a look at an iconic resort now lying in a state of ruin. Join us for a small glimpse into the past of a once beautiful place called the Pines. Follow me. All right.
We're in.
All right, so this is, don't look at the fat guy. This is New York. This is the Pines. But, as we actually talked about before, this wasn't the real Pines, right?
Right. This is the Winter Village part of the Pines. This came about in the mid-'60s.
Right. So we thought originally that we were going to be checking out the actual hotel. And when we got here, we were a little bit confused because what we read in the pictures we saw showed quite a bit more in terms of buildings and pools, swimming pools, and
right.
What we saw. And now you can see here, we've gotten there's a lot of garbage. So, and then we do a foundation maybe.
Yeah, but looks like a foundation. So the whole thing's about 96 acres.
Right.
So yeah, we definitely had some more behind us.
And we were actually we were in a small part of it. As you stated earlier, we were in the Winter Village. So this probably had, so that chimney probably was part of like a little bar or some type of a place where you can get warm.
Right.
And all they had here was basically the skiing.
Which I'm getting on that right there. That's one of the slopes right there.
And the ice skating, right?
Right.
So just to remind everyone, we were at the Pines, but we weren't at the Pines. We weren't at the hotel. So what are we looking at?
That's the ski chalet. So that would be where someone would be doing either tickets or probably watching. Later on, we'll walk over to that. That's actually where the physical chairlift is.
Oh, okay.
And then looks like there's not really a ton of info on this, but this building right here looked like it was either a ticket type of window for the ice skating rink or maybe for the physical the skiing right behind us there. Up off to the left, there's the pond where all the ice skating was. Yeah.
And again, we were, people have been using this as a dump site.
Right.
Because I was like, oh, look at all the material that's left here. But it wasn't. It was contractor debris.
Yeah.
It was just dumped. That's a shame too. That sucks.
Yeah. The whole property over here is littered with it. In 2008, they made them rip down about 9 buildings or so on the property. So they must have left a majority of it all right here.
Well, we just drove in and we were the only ones in there.
Right.
I would never even drop like a piece of paper or anything. But if we wanted to, we could have dumped a whole bunch of stuff and just left.
No one would ever have found
and nobody would have known. And so I guess that part, like, you can't expect everybody to do the right thing. But by the way, if anybody needs a pair of sunglasses right now, we are a little bit overexposed, but we as you'll see later in the video that has been repaired. So here we are. We saw a picture of this. You found a picture of this building with the fireplace.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little octagon building over here at some point. There must have been something underneath it as well because it's built up pretty far off the ground there. You can see that wall. It looked like it was just like a little type of ski lodge, with obviously the fireplace looking towards the hill there. There must have been a wooden structure where we're physically standing on. It's a little piece of cotton asphalt there.
And this is probably where you were ice skating, you're skiing, and then you're getting cold.
Right.
You come in, you warm up, you have some hot cocoa. or you have some. They probably maybe had a bar there. Get cozy. All right, so I think so you can remove your sunglasses now. I think we fixed that, right? Yeah, that looks a little better. But it said some technical difficulties there. So is this the back? No,
this is the front still.
This is the front. Okay, and that would have been the fireplace over here.
Yep.
Okay. Now pay no mind to the fat guy. Yeah, there he is. That's me. All right, so we're just looking at some of the debris that was left around this building was charred. So I'm thinking, perhaps it was.
There was a big fire here. I believe it was in 2011.
Okay.
And so that was about.
So that's probably
13 years ago.
Right. And here we are. We're going to go around the back of the building now. I don't think we go over to where the skating was yet.
No. Nope, we're doing the perimeter now.
Right. And we had a great day, by the way. I mean, we couldn't ask for a better day. So.
Yeah, this was in the second week of December, and we got a 50-degree day. It was beautiful.
It was awesome out there.
That's one of the stairs leading up to the pond there.
Okay. What's left of them.
What's left of them, right.
So, again, until we make our way around back, this is a resort.
Right.
In the Borscht Belt of New York, or more commonly referred to as the Catskills, which was very popular during the 50s, 60s, and then it started, dwindling back, right around the end of the late 60s, early 70s.
Right around the late 60s,
yeah. Some of these places started closing, so.
Yep, so this is in southern New York. This is in South Fallsburg. It's about 40 miles north of the Pennsylvania border there.
Right.
And, they call it the Jewish Alps.
The Jewish Alps. Yeah. And there was a time where, from what I understand, if you were of the Jewish religion, and I didn't know this, you were excluded from going to some of these resorts in the United States.
Right.
So, and in the podcast, we'll get a little deeper into this.
Absolutely.
But, a couple of guys that had a lot of money, basically had enough of all this, and they said, you know what, we're going to make our own resorts, and that's kind of where all this started. And we'll talk more in depth about that on the podcast. But
yeah, this was a very, very trafficked area for 40, almost 50 years.
Yeah.
Till really like that middle of the 80s where the huge decline came in.
And didn't we see that it was closed when we went, but there was, it wasn't too far from Fallsburg. Was it Ellensville?
I believe it's called Ellenstown.
Ellenstown or Ellensville? I'll look it up. But there's a Borscht Belt museum,
right?
That has a lot of interesting. From what I've read, there's a lot of interesting history there. A lot of things to check out. A lot of pictures.
So that piece of concrete you see there almost in the middle of the screen, that was the base of the chairlift, which was one of the first double man chairs in New York. It was built in December of 1965, it's kind of odd because that mid 60s was really when the decline of this all really started to really unfold there. And so they were still spending some good money over here.
And I wonder if they knew they were in decline, or if they were just like, or if they knew it but they didn't want to believe it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because for them to be dropping money now back in the 60s, a double chairlift, and you're a skier. I'm not, but that was kind of state of the art back then, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. They're still in use today. Plenty of resorts here in New England still use plenty of double chairs.
Right. And from what I saw, some of the stuff that's left over, this looked a little bit hokey. Anyway.
Right.
I was actually surprised. There was one point. Well, you'll see in the video. I'll part of the chairlift it looked like a motorcycle rim been replaced on maybe a pulley that got that broke or something. I don't know.
Right, we're about to be walking up on it right now. Actually, yeah, it was very weird. Very weird.
I would hate to think that was like the original. Like that's the original part. Like, right. Oh, yeah, we couldn't design anything, but so here's this. We found this motorcycle rim, and that'll work just great. You know. So here's some
more trash,
more debris, right?
Yeah, the whole property, this whole section of the property was just, it's one of those places you could go dump anything you want, and right. no one's coming here to look for it.
Now, I think what they did, and you'll see later in the video, there's a lot of caution tape, and I'm like, was that put there to stop people from dumping? I doubt it, because that wouldn't work, right?
No, right. You'd think they would block it from the street.
I don't understand. Oh, there it is. So there's our motorcycle rim. And, of course, the line would go over the top of this or whatnot, and it was carrying the chairlift, and the cable would be slung across this.
Yeah.
There's actually, in motorcycle rim, there's a light on the pole, and then right above the motorcycle rim, you can see that part that probably prevents the cable from coming off.
There must be some type of blocker on that.
Right. And yeah, this is. Yeah. Oh, we got another look at the motorcycle rim because I find that hilarious.
It was odd. It was really odd. We're just walking through there, and all of a sudden you look up and you see that kind of in there. It's like, what,
And the reason why we knew what that was is because everything kind of went in a line.
Right.
The bases of the cement bases where the footings would have been, all the supports and everything, they're all kind of in a row.
Lines up pretty straight. Yeah.
Right. And here. So this is I think somebody perhaps might have stole a vehicle, took it on one hell of a joyride.
Absolutely.
And then just left it here. This thing was all kinds of beat up, but
just strange that, just the amount of trash and debris in this small area here is just incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I understand, I get it. It costs money to dump, but come on, people. Hey, maybe take it to your own house and dump it in your backyard.
Right.
Right? All right, that's my idea for the week. So now we're going to be coming up to, I believe, even more garbage.
Exactly.
Okay, and here's the, okay, so, by the way, this, you could see that caution tape, and it looks like it's been up for a while. But here's a better view of.
Yeah, so like I said, in 2008, the town made them demolish some of the wooden structures that were left on the properties. A lot of them were falling apart and caving in, things like that. So they must have just taken a lot of this stuff from on this physical property and kind of tried to move it together. And, obviously there's a lot of newer trash that, people have added to it.
Right. I mean, I'm wondering, is this like when they, how many buildings were there? Well,
on this property, I believe there was 11.
Okay, that had to be removed.
I think there was I think they made them take down 9. There's 9 of them on here.
So there's two still in existence.
Yep, which we'll be walking by.
But it wasn't all in the skiing and skating part of it. You're talking about resort wide.
Right.
There were. Okay.
So actually, in this direction we're looking at here, about 400 yards that way is the physical hotel itself,
which we missed by mere feet.
Right.
Because you had actually taken a walk up the hill.
Right. So there was you could tell that at some point when they made, that where that chairlift had dropped off, I walked up there and it flattens out a little bit and then it went up again, but it was pretty vertical. So I didn't make it all the way up there, which unfortunately I would have seen the hotel. It was so close to there.
And then now we have these pedestals with 20 amp power service on them. And I'm thinking to myself, when we were talking about this, could that have been where they plugged in campers? Or, I mean, you're seeing these poles every 20 feet or so with a place to plug in. And I know campers back in those days were probably 20 amps back in the 60s. I don't think they had air conditioning in them. In fact, I'm pretty sure they didn't. But something caught my eye up here, and it was this steel pole. And I think this is where we kind of walked through to see what was going on. Now, this is part of that system, the double chairlift.
Right. This had definitely something to do with it.
Yeah. Like I said, it's wonky. There's the cable right there. It's pretty thin. Yeah. I don't know. You can tell me, right?
It's fairly thin.
You can tell that, because the cables nowadays.
Right. They're definitely, see, I'm not sure about, obviously 60s and 70s technology on that, but those are definitely very thin.
Yeah. Even I bet they had a weight limit on them.
Right.
So in other words, if I wanted to go skiing here back in the 60s, they'd probably tell me, no, sir, you're going to have to walk up the hill. That's great. Yeah, so this was, and obviously, I mean, there's so much debris, but on top of that, the trees and the brush that has grown over the years, and we
the new growth, the old growth, is
right, exactly.
Very, very easy to spot out here.
Exactly, and we had we saw the fences. I think we're gonna be walking over to.
This is walking into that's where the chairlift was originally.
This must have been where you got your chairlift ticket, or
most of the time, a lot of these, there's probably someone sitting in there watching the people going on and off the chair in case someone fell or there was a problem. They had to stop it.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing. There was
such an oddly shaped building too.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that that's where you got a pair of skis, but then again, how many people were using this?
Right.
They could have stored skis in there.
Oh, I'm sure they could have had definitely had something in there.
Because later in the video, you'll see the repair building,
right?
And
which is one of the two remaining real structures on the property.
And that's where they fixed everything. So
yeah, there are plenty of workbenches in there. It's a great building.
So this building here had a type of, I guess, a rules and regulation sign in it, and it also had the power. It had a couple of breaker panels, but in terms of what it was actually used for, we're only speculating.
Right.
That it was there were people in there that were helpful that worked there, obviously, and then maybe there were skis in there that you could rent, or ski poles, or
right.
I don't know.
This close to the lift, that there was definitely a couple people in here watching everything that was going on with that for sure.
Right.
But it is a little weird, the window placement. I know it's kind of hard to tell right here. I'm messing around with the video camera, but that window is not very high off the ground.
No, it's weird.
In the foot and a half or 2 feet or so.
In the main window, where you would actually do business through, is very low. We saw it earlier. Yeah, so there's there's some junk left in here, but I wonder, do you have any idea of when this went out of service? Was it 2008?
So the resort closed in 1998.
All right, 1998.
Okay. And then it had switched hands, and then they had filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2002, and they went through like a 5-year property tax assessment battle with the town, and it's about 2007 that was kind of the end of it there.
I wonder when the last skiing and skating was, because honestly, this place is beat up. I don't know.
Yeah, so nothing went on here after 98.
Okay.
So they were trying to turn this into a condominium.
Yes.
And it just never went through. Yeah. So they on the outside of this property, the other side of the road, that's another piece that they own, and they had done some over there.
Must have been some land battle issues.
Right.
I mean, you would think that after the decline of the Borscht Belt, and everybody lost their customer base, and what bank was gonna throw money at this after that?
It's amazing they even hung on until 98.
Right. But there are some condos that were built behind here that weren't there originally.
700 of them.
Wow. Okay. And here's the repair building.
Yep.
Which I thought was interesting. They must have had the plows in here. They had a couple of workbenches. Of course, it's all speculation. We saw a couple things that indicated that they might have repaired the shop and the skates, repaired the skis, the bindings, and all that type of thing.
Yeah.
And I think, basically based on what we saw, this wasn't your premier ski resort.
No.
This was just a little something fun to do with.
This was an add-on, right?
Right.
Yeah, they had all types of plans over here. They were trying to build a casino on this property too, and that never got an approval. So they were trying to just add plenty of things to this, but like I said, they were really late to the party on this. In the mid '60s, this was kind of the decline on this.
And here's the skating.
Yep, this is the skating pond.
All right. So that's pretty much the end of that video. Appreciate you guys taking a peek at it. We're also going to be doing the Nevele pretty soon, and we'll see you again in that one. Thanks again.